Hey everybody, it's Carlos from Motorcycle Podcast. I got Mike over here on the mic again.
Yes, sir.
And today, do you like dark fantasy adventures?
I know you do.
Yeah, I do. So today we're going to talk about Black Powder and Brimstone. I love this art in this book.
Yeah, that book came in what? Not too long ago. Is that a pretty new release?
It's I think it falls. Yeah, it's under the Mork Bork group, Freely Workshop.
What? Whole lot of Torque stuff going on.
Mork Borg compatible with. So that means it's super dark and it's super angry.
So your alley.
Yeah, so I picked it up. I'm like, let me read this because I like these smaller digest ones. And man, what an easy read. I am all about the easy read RPGs anymore. I mean, this book, it reads almost like the interior art is fantastic. It's comic book. Reminds me of like Hellboy, that kind of art style. Oop, some nudity there. I don't want to show that. But the men are all boisterous. Is that the word?
I don't even know. Boisterous.
The men are all.
You hit me with, where's the dictionary?
The men are. I know, right? We gotta get that. The men are all. Okay, I found it. Boisterous, noisy, energetic, and rowdy. Yeah. That's it. That's the word I was looking for. Now that I found it, boisterous. The men are boisterous. The women are curvy, and the setting is grim. So this is actually kind of a cool little setting. So Mork Bork is kind of like a dark, heavy metal, ultra-violent kind of game.
That's like a game itself.
That's Mork Bork is compatible. Mork Bork's we carry that too. You've seen it out there. Come on, man.
Probably.
So this setting is kind of cool. It's in a setting. It's a smaller, like middle European, Eastern European type of setting, and there's a war going on. It's between two religious factions.
Always
heavily based on. If you actually read it, and it's heavily based on like one of them is called. One of them is actually called the Holy Empire of the Sanguine Church, which kind of leans towards Catholics. And then you got the Holy Confederacy of the Puritan Church, which kind of leans towards Protestant. Being a Protestant guy, being a good Protestant myself, it's
they both sound culty. Are they a little culty?
Yes, but it's very heavy leanings towards that, and they're basically fighting it out over
I'm right. No, I'm right.
Yeah, I'm going to guess this was made in Europe, but they're fighting it over Europe, like an old European country. So also against that is you have different things called, like there's the two factions are fighting, and then you have like different parts of those factions. You have like free companies that work for both. You have Inquisition that is supposed to work for both or neither. And
like subsets of those factions.
Yeah, and then you have the demons running around. There's a problem. There's real demons, and then you have like something called I think it's kind of like the Black Plague, but they call it the Staggering Pox.
And these are real demons just running around?
Yeah, real demons running around. They're like straightforward, not even playing around.
No big deal.
This is a quick read, right? You also have environmental problems. They have like a cold. They call it the cold that comes in. I think it's just like
winter.
Yeah, winter basically. But it can
Game of
happen
Thrones winter.
Yeah, it can happen at any time, or just like Ohio. It's like June, and it's probably going to be 60s tonight, 50s.
Yeah, I think it's like blizzard outside right now.
Yeah, so then there's the ongoing war you want to avoid, and then they also even have outer gods, which like everything's like quickly described though with enough detail that you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, and then you can add so much to it, and then like the artwork brings it together. The whole system's based on a simple test on a D20, and it ranges from a D4 or a DR6. Which is an easy task, up to DR18.
What's a D6?
What's a D6?
I'm going to keep saying that every time.
Yeah. What's a D6? So it's a real simple system. The character generation is easy. It's based on your basic attributes, your strength, your persuasion, your intuition, or some other things that I forgot to write down. And then based on that also is the combat rules are real simple too. It's same difference. It's like a DR. I think it's a DR12. You got to roll above a 12 to get it with modifiers back and forth. And then they have a bunch of different character classes. Like they call them. They're basically, you got fighters, clerics.
Just different names for them.
There's different names for them, but they're very kind of like setting appropriate. And I really liked it. The one part I did like in this was how they do chase rules. Like, basically it's you roll off against whoever you're chasing, and it's like on a little chart. It's real simple, but I'm like, oh, that's kind of a cool way to
physically chasing somebody.
Yeah, like in game. Well, not running down the hallway.
Yeah, just like in the game.
In game, if you're like trying to chase somebody down, they have this very cool system. It's real simple, where it's basically dice rolls, and you're just
inching closer. Or further.
Yeah, closer and further, or falling. And it could be an instant kick or an instant go. And then they have a variety of weapons. What I like too is the setting includes basic firearms like muskets, blunderbusses, the beginning of it all, the black powder weapon, hence the title, Black Powder, right? And because of all the wars and everything that's going on, demons pop up, like actual demons pop up. There's also mutants that pop up. There's also some other creatures, and they have a little bestiary, which, man, there's plenty of little monsters in here. This is a good quick start game where, like if you could play long campaigns with this. You could add a few things to it, but it's real basic enough, but detailed enough that you can jump off of it. And then there's a lot of charts in there. It's like a DM section. It has a bunch of charts that helps you build the world, just dice rolls and everything like that. Even your character creation is real simple because you're probably going to die quickly. And you can make a bunch of characters real quick.
So you got to make a bunch of characters, basically.
You can.
You're going to die.
You make your company. And then there's also rules that I liked where you can have a character, but then you have like what you would call your henchmen, like they call it in other games. But they also have quick rules for fighting. Like say if you come up on say you and your company of 10 guys, like 10 units or whatever, and all of a sudden you run into a couple demons or another unit. There's a quick way to fight out mass combats, which I thought was cool. Kind of cool in a system too.
Yeah, it's got its own balance method.
Yeah,
probably.
It's like the background. I really liked it. I was surprised. I was like, let me read this and see. But I'm like, I like this setting. But I really like the whole, and it's you can relate it to easily Europe. Easy Europe. It's an easy thing. Throw a few monsters in there, and then they have a sample adventure.
Like 15th century Europe, like that type of thing, or like 16, 17.
I'm terrible with dates, but yeah, whenever Black
like
Powder,
medieval times type stuff.
Like no, not even past medieval times. Like they still have swords and armor, but gunpowder is a big part of it. It's like it's not the first
probably like 17th
cannon
century.
with the guys like it's more like blunderbusses, muskets, and, cannons and stuff like that.
17th, 18th.
Just when they're starting to get that stuff down or starting to get it into the modern age. But
it's probably 40K grim, like that type of grim style, like
that kind of world.
Like nothing's happy.
No,
there's no happiness.
There's happiness. And, they even build up the world a little bit. They give it a lot of settings. There's plenty in there. If you ever just want, this is a complete game too, right here. So if you ever just want to pick up a game that you wanted to run through, I can't even remember how much.
Do they have adventures preloaded in there, or is
in the back? There's one adventure in the back, but
you can make a one shot out of this.
Yeah, but part of the DM's area, the GM's area, is how to make quick little worlds or adventure ideas, and there's a lot of jump off points from here. That's what I like, is like sometimes you're just sitting there like, what do I do now? And as opposed to some other games where they have like a huge world where everything's described for you and you have to read and learn about it, this is like, whatever, roll the dice and, whatever. You're going on a mission because a nobleman can't find his puppy dog that turns into
side
like some
quest.
kind of, not even a side quest. I'm sure that would turn into some horrible
quest,
thing. Yeah. Some horrible thing that happened. And what I like too is magic isn't like overly. Magic is powerful, but it's also
not complicated.
No, it's not complicated, and it's not good or evil. It's not like there's only a set number of spells, just like there's only a set number of traits. It's very small, very simple game to play, and the magic is not good or evil. It's just your intentions, like so. The spell might be one spell, like say a a fireball or start a fire. You can use that from any way. I'm start a fire to keep people warm, or I'm going to start a fire to burn a house down.
Or
it's
an ice
your
spell,
intention.
like a cool down something, or destroy somebody.
And it's set that way. And there's even some stuff where they take it out into. They have a description of what's going on, like their own thing in here. And I think anything's optional. I like the religious base of part of it because I'm like, okay, that I can get behind, but then they have something else, and I'm not going to spoil it because I'm like, oh, okay, that is pretty good. That explains why it's a religious war. Like, just like
crazy.
Yeah,
stuff.
It's pretty crazy. I'm like, where did that? I'm like, that's pretty good. I wouldn't use that as a game, but Yeah, it is very good what they came up with. I don't want to spoil it because it is a good idea, but or a good little story, and or train of thought was the story of it, but they do have some stuff like even a little tiny bit of sci-fi element in there. So, but not enough to ruin it, but enough to add a little flavor, like kind of like finding a pistol in a D&D campaign or something like that. You're like, where'd that come from?
What is this?
Yeah, what is this? So, but it's a lot of fun. So if you're looking for a game that's a quick starter or just a read to give you a lot of ideas, Black Powder and Brimstone. And man, I just want to say the artwork in this is great for what it is. It's very
Who's the artist?
Like very comic book art style in here. It says Art Words Design by Benjamin Tobit. So I'm not really sure who that is, but excellent job. And it's like I said, it's worth getting.
And do you think games like this are becoming more popular because it's all in one instead of having a DM book, this book, that book, like how D&D? Do you think like between that and Shadow Dark stuff? I think like
the core, like if you want to play a role playing game and you want depth and all that stuff, you're always going to have those players. So I think this is good for players that want to just play. I can only play once a month, or I can only play. Hey, you always want to grab a game real quick. Like Magic, you can just sit down and start playing. Role playing games take a little more time. I think that's why they're also less complicated. You don't have to think so much. It's more of a beer and pretzel role playing game, if that's such a thing. But yes, I think these are becoming more popular. Plus the variety, because with D&D's explosion, you had a bunch of people come in, and they didn't realize there's so many other things. So now all these people are kind of veering off into other different things. Like D&D is D&D, Pathfinder's Pathfinder. Even Dungeon Crawl Classic is Dungeon Crawl Classic.
Yep, DCC Day. DCC Day is coming up when?
Yeah,
when
July. Free role playing game. When is this coming out? This will come out probably after a free RPG, but definitely before
DCC Day.
Yeah, which is in July. But those are the big games, and they're very depth, and they got a lot of background to it. But these are simple, easy to get into. Like I carry a lot of them. I'm starting to carry a lot more, and I enjoy them. I enjoy reading them because they're easy reads too. And it's like, there's a lot of good ideas, and even the artwork I enjoy, and just so much to Free League does a lot of good stuff. So, but all right, if you enjoyed that, if you like that, if you want to hear more, give us a call.
You can give us a call if you want.
Yeah, you give us a call.
You should probably just subscribe, or like, or join, because that's the thing. You do get benefits. You get to see bloopers of our madness from the short end,
or just me, just a lot of stuff we do. I do a lot of collectible
you post
stuff
a lot of like unboxing videos too.
Yeah, like stuff I buy,
you and,
like
you and your
stuff.
buddies play or whatever. You'll just
stuff that old people like.
Yeah, only old people, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys later.
All right.